I told our players it needed to be an A effort. A plus would have been great, but an A effort in order to win. There's no way we could come anything less A minus, B plus, C. Just couldn't. They're that good. They burn you for every mistake. I didn't see an A effort tonight. But beyond the effort, it needed to be an A effort mentally. It needed to be an A effort with discipline. I think discipline was the biggest issue tonight. Good, better, best on a shot selection is the only way you can beat Oregon State, because if you give them extra possessions or possessions where your teammates are surprised at the shot you took, and then we have to defend that vulnerable shot, Oregon State's not going to miss that many of those, right? You have to have an organized defense set and communicating and talking and playing the scout to even keep them, under 80. And, I think we did that just by nature of the fact that, the game got away from us. I think the start of the third quarter was very deflating, and it was a lack of focus, and it was also that same idea, good, better, best. And we took two crazy, vulnerable shots and then didn't defend to the scout on the back end, and that was 9 points right there. And it seemed like at that point we weren't smart enough to chip away. And you have to be smart and disciplined to beat this team. And we were not smart and we were not disciplined. But they are a great team. And the reason they're a great team is because Pivic, she's just every play that they needed in a big moment. They got some great players, but I think Caleb Pivic is as good as I've seen in terms of being patient, being composed, and understanding the whys, why they were calling certain plays, what they're supposed to get out of it, and we weren't there. I thought our point guard play tonight was nowhere in comparison to their guard play, and it takes a very, very smart team to beat Oregon State. Credit to them and their staff and their talent, and we were not very, very smart tonight.
Kate, it was the second game in a row where the threes really hurt you, the DePaul game and this one.
Yeah.
What do you attribute that to?
Well, for this game, DePaul didn't have a lot of size, and their center went 6 for 9. This game, so that hurt us because it was off the plan. It was two plan. This is the ones who shot them. We knew were shooters. They run a lot of fades that require a connection between two teammates to talk through the fades, and I think about 5 of their threes were off of a fade screen, which is. That's a communication thing, and so they were pretty open. I think their size in throwing over our size, even sometimes maybe we had it guarded, but they could see and throw over us. But their execution, they're very smart.
Katie, a lot of schools, when they schedule a tournament or a classic or however you want to define it, they'll bring in a school that you can beat up.
Yeah.
How much, I know you want to play better, that's a given.
Right.
But how much does this team sort of plant seeds as far as where you need, the tape from today, how much is that going to help you going forward as far as the level you want to get to?
Well, if we're not as sophisticated, which we're not, they win that hands down, right? So you bring in a very sophisticated team with great size and great shooters and great guard play, right? It exposes everything. We have a day to, not even a day till we play again. So I can't really take this and make it my homework project before we play again. But we needed it. I'm not surprised that we got exposed. I am not surprised that we got exposed by this team. A lot of teams are going to get exposed by Oregon State. They don't miss any flaw on the opponents. That's probably their best quality is and I told some of my junior class, I said, listen, you're front page of the scout report now. You're the top two names that they're talking about. You used to be 5, 6, 7, 8. All of a sudden you went from 5, 6, 7, 8 to 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're wondering what's wrong with your game. You just moved up the scout report, and great teams aren't going to let you be who you want to be. And that's why you got to work on your game and do extra work and have some counter moves. And we didn't have them tonight because this team was like, okay, I'm going to talk about Micaiah Gray, I'm going to talk about Kelsey Marshall, and I'm going to shut down what they do. And they're standing there, what's wrong? What's wrong? Well, what's wrong is we were losing. And that means no matter what, help Miami win. But you can't be thinking about why am I off my game in the middle of a game.
And you kind of addressed it too, but those first 90 seconds of the third quarter, how much did everything you talked about at halftime just go up in smoke at that point?
it was hard to sort of go to what we wanted because I was telling the team that we had 20 points worth of mistakes at halftime, but we were only down 8. So I said, this is not a bad scenario. Like, here's me assuming, wow, we got lucky. We can now, because we had 20 points worth of scouting mistakes and call a timeout to draw up a play. That's not a new play. Just one that you got this. This is a big moment, and we run it completely the wrong direction. So that was something to where I thought, wow, we're actually fortunate to only be down 8, and then 90 seconds later, we're down 17. Upperclassmen making errors in that moment.
Anything else?
Thanks for coming.
No, I was gonna ask you,
Oh.
yeah, can you just talk, she covered a lot of it, but, from a player's perspective, what did you think went wrong, especially at the beginning of the second half? You had time to regroup, you got your speech from your coach, what do you think happened at the beginning of the second half there?
Like Coach said, we came out and the first 3 minutes we had to come back and be ready to play hard, and we just didn't. And we came out and we let them shoot and do what they wanted to do, and we didn't enforce our will on them. It was just we had no heart and no desire to come back.
Did you sense that from the start of the game that things weren't quite right, or did it just develop once they took a bigger lead, or what did you think?
I kind of sensed it at the beginning of the game, like when we warm up, when nobody has energy or nobody's talking, clapping, or nothing. We all come out flat.
Yeah, you guys kind of struggled the offense. You think that kind of contributed to you guys on the defensive end?
Not really. I think on the defensive end, we just didn't play hard at all. Like closing out on shooters, knowing scout, and just letting them do what they wanted to do. That big tendency, we just let them do it against us, and we didn't box out. And then that goes on to helping us on the offensive end by pushing and attacking.
How did this home and home come together?
I'm sorry?
How did this home and home come together?
Actually, we were trying to fill our tournament, and they reached out to us. And I have such respect for Scott, and I know that they are potentially a Final Four team. And I wanted to, play early, really get challenged early. So it was just a series of conversations. But for us, we usually don't do home and home in a tournament because obviously they're getting another game out of this. But it's also something we've been sent quite often in the postseason out west. So it was one of those things that was in the back of my mind, that shouldn't be your first trip out there if you have a team that's lucky enough to qualify and get sent. So we've either played at home or we've been sent pretty far. So, but I mean, defensively, as much as it looks like terrible, they're 10 points below their average tonight. I mean, that's how good they are. I mean, that's the thing. They're 10 points below their average. That's how difficult this is to solve, especially if you're not going to shoot at a better percentage than what we were able to do tonight.